Front page of missionks.org. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rodman, please call the roll.
Thomas. Boltinghouse.
Here.
Loudon.
Here.
Ryard. Here. Spring.
Here.
Inman.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Josie.
Here.
Okay, we do have a revised agenda for tonight's meeting. I would entertain a motion to approve our revised agenda.
Mayor, I move the city council approve the revised agenda, or October 18th, 2023 agenda as printed.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Robin, please call the roll.
Davis.
Aye.
Spring.
Aye.
Inman.
Aye.
Loudon.
Aye.
Josie.
Aye.
Ryard.
Aye.
Thomas. Yeah. Boltinghouse.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we'll move into our special presentations. We do have 3 special presentations on our agenda this evening. Our first is an update from Chief Steve Chick of Consolidated Fire District Number 2. CFD2 provides invaluable services to our residences and business, and we look forward to their updates. Welcome, Chief. Will you please provide an update on fire activity and mission?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor and Council and city staff for having me this evening. Tonight, I come to you and I was prepared to deliver an overall update, give you kind of an annual report and give you a picture of what our 2024 budget is going to look like. So to begin with, what I'd like to say is that much like our partners in the police service, one of the things that we were challenged with is the employment climate, just trying to find good qualified candidates and enough of them to serve the public. Fortunately, right now we happen to be full staff, but I know how tenuous that is. And so I'm certainly not bragging, Dan, because I know it's sometimes a challenge. So, but we do interact on mission critical topics like this with our board on a monthly basis. And so our appointed board, which we have 7 board members for the members of the public that don't know, we serve 8 cities. And so what we try to do is have representation from each city. And then if you know, obviously if you have 7 members in 8 cities, then we have to rotate one of those around as much as we can. But we do have representation regularly from mission. And so we interact with the board on a lot of these topics. One of the things that the board has recognized is that our budget is 80% or a little over 80% made up of employment related costs. And so year to year, when you're looking at the fact that benefits go up, salaries have to change with inflation, things like that, then what you run into is the reality when you're over 80% of that is directly attributable to the professionals that we employ. The thought that year to year the budget's going to go down a lot is probably a long shot. But what we've done is really worked hard the last few years to work on our budget and work on how we spend the taxpayers' money. And so I'll be able to share some specifics with you on that in just a moment. So one thing that we set as a goal a number of years ago was to demonstrate our level of collaboration with the rest of the county. There's a lot of things that we do in the fire service that if each department in the county did those specialty items like water rescue or hazardous materials or high angle rescue or those kind of specialty items, if each department tried to do that for themselves, the cost would be much, much higher to the county. And so what we do is we all specialize in some different areas. And for instance, CFD2 and Olathe specialize in trench collapse and structural collapse. So those are the things we really, really focus on. Overland Park is our hazardous materials provider. Olathe backs them up if they're busy. So if we have a hazmat incident, then Overland Park will come help us with their technician level people. And then if there's a water rescue, we would get Shawnee or Leewood. And so that collaboration saves the taxpayer money in the long run. And it allows the people who are doing those specialty items to be highly trained and highly proficient in those areas of expertise. So over the last year, we logged almost 1,400 hours of training with our partners in those other organizations. That's important because when we come to an emergency, even if it's something that we don't specifically do, like hazardous materials, we still take command and we run that incident. And then the specialists who actually are hands-on trained to how to handle that will work under our command structure. And so those interfaces and learning how to work with each other in those incidents, and even doing that with our police departments on things like active shooter drills and hostile events and things like that are important. So that's how we get that number of hours. As we move forward, one of the things that I wanted to showcase was our advanced life support program. I've talked to most of our cities about this in the past. And when we started the advanced life support program, what our purpose was to make sure we delivered, make sure that we delivered life-saving measures to the doorstep as fast as we could. And so our goal when we built the ALS program was to be fully staffed and operational to what our goals were in 5 years. We're just over 3 years. We've now met our fully operational threshold 2 years early. Our goal was to deliver a consistent ALS response and put a paramedic on the doorstep of a homeowner in an average of 5 minutes and 20 seconds from the time that we were dispatched. And we're doing that in 4 minutes and 3 seconds right now. So we're really proud of what we've been able to do with that. Super, super happy with the results. And the folks that happened through two different options. One was we hired a few firefighter paramedics from the outside. When we were hiring people, we were looking for firefighter paramedics. And then the other was that we had people internally that were willing to invest the time and go to school for a couple of years and become paramedics and increase their level of service. So super proud of what we're doing for the community, and the outcomes that we're seeing are showing that. When we speak about outcomes, I'd like to tell you that we did this year gain approval for one additional position within the department. That department's going to be a data analyst and a strategic planner inside the department with us. What we're going to be able to do is to quantify and deliver reports to each of our cities that does a better job of honing in on the important points in the ways that we serve you. And so we're excited to redesign some reports. You guys will be getting new reports that are both global for the whole district, but also specialized to show you what kind of calls we're running for, like the city of Mission. So we're excited about that in the future and looking forward to bringing some of those some new clarity to the cities. So, excuse me, some challenges and considerations that we look at for the future. I've talked to city staff and the mayor in the past about tax increment financing. That's something that I've taken a lot of heat on from county commissioners. There's even been county commissioners that said they wouldn't vote for our budget because of TIF costs and things like that. What we're hoping to do is continue to work with our cities, be there in tandem, be a partner, and have the opportunity to discuss those things so that we're doing everything we can to answer those questions by the county commissioners, because they, after all, are the people who do approve our budget ultimately. So currently our infrastructure is in pretty decent shape. We have a couple of planned improvements. We have a 4-year-old station down by in Prairie Village, next to the Prairie Village City Hall. And then we have a 25-year-old station at 63rd and Mission Road. And then we have a station that was built in the mid-70s up here in Mission. So we built that new station in Prairie Village. It's up and running. The maintenance costs have been very low on it, which is fantastic. And our plan over the next couple of years is to make some improvements to 63rd and Mission and make some improvements to the facility here on Martway, and continue to make sure that they live long into the future so that they can serve the public from those locations. So we're really proud of one thing that we've done over the last year, and that is that we recognize the challenge in recruiting good people, but also recognize that we were getting beat because we don't hire as often as some other organizations. And what we run into is that our ability to hire female firefighters or people of color or that diversity within the organization has been hampered because we don't regularly hire all the time. We just don't have the number of vacancies that some other organizations have. And so what we thought might be a solution was to build a firefighter intern program, and we did that. So what we do now is we go seek out the best candidates in those schools, learning to be EMTs and learning to be firefighters, and we find candidates. And if they happen to be a female or a diverse individual, then it's a great bonus because it gives us an opportunity to recruit those people before the other departments are doing the same thing. And so I'm happy to report that within the last year, we've had 2 candidates that we were able to hire, one diverse candidate, one female firefighter. So we just put the female firefighter on last month, full-time after an academy. She's doing a great job. Both candidates are working into our culture very well. And we have another intern right now that we're helping through school and will be done in May. So that intern program is bringing us new blood and an opportunity to go seek out the brightest of those candidates from the schools while they're still in school before everybody gets a look at them. So the downside to that, people figured out what we're doing and now they're trying to do the same thing. So we'll continue. One of the things that we watch continually and we're talking about with our board is fire company staffing. The National Fire Protection Agency says in Standard 1710 that every engine and every aerial company should have or shall have a 4-person staffing on that unit for fire operations. One of the challenges that we have is that a number of years ago, they downsized the fire district for budget concerns, and we can only support 3 on each fire truck right now. When we do have 4, it just happens to be a bonus in staffing, and we happen to, it happens to be a day where where our staffing is really good, so we can put a 4th, but that doesn't happen on all the engines or the aerials, and it's not consistent. So what we'll do is continue to evaluate that in the future against the standard and see where we need to be in being proactive to solve that problem. So some performance metrics I'd like to share with you. First of all, CFD2 continues to be fiscally responsible with our taxpayers' dollars. Again, this year, we received the highest possible rating awarded in our annual audit, and there were no recommendations for improvement in our practices. We're really proud of that. We work super hard. We take the charge of managing the taxpayers' dollars very seriously, and so we're happy to report that to you. Our employee turnover is extremely low. Right now, we're at about 1.38% turnover. That's largely due to the fact that the people who work at CFD2 love the community they serve. They love the way that we serve the community. They love working with each other, and we have a very, very healthy culture. And we are not the highest paid in the area, and we do not have the most benefits in the area, but we have a fantastic culture. And so I think that helps us retain employees and helps us to serve the public better, because better retention means better consistency, which means that we can get the best people here to serve the community. And so we're excited about that. And we continue to, that's a pretty bright spot in our report, is that you just don't hear turnover numbers like that in today's environment. So total training hours, I reported about collaborative training hours earlier in the report. We have almost 12,000 hours of training every year that our people do to stay proficient in EMS and fire and rescue tactics. So really aggressive with that. We do a lot of training. You'll see the trucks out. I had a resident ask me a little while ago, what's a training delay mean? And training delay simply is that you might have equipment off of a truck that'll take you a minute or 2 to get it back on because you're doing training. So it flips the priority to another unit in the area to make sure that we get a fast response for the public. And so those are the kind of things that we take seriously. There are 50,000 fire organizations in North America that are graded by the Insurance Services Organization. Those grades are given from an ISO class 1 to an ISO class 10. There are 411 in the North American evaluation that are an ISO class 1, and we happen to be one of those 411. What that means is that our business owners, our homeowners, our property owners in our district receive the lowest possible insurance ratings because of the quality of service that we provide the community. And we're graded on that every couple of years. They come to a reevaluation. So really proud of that, able to save the taxpayer money. And that's something that's important to us. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is the financial security and the mill levy for the next year. So this year we were able to drop the mill levy 0.475 again. For the 4th year in a row, we've dropped the mill levy, which means we're down 1.745 mills over the last 4 years. What I've told all of the cities, and what I want to make sure that I tell you, is that we had some money in reserve for liability related to the dark store theory. And a lot of the council, I'm sure, is aware of what the dark store meant. But the reality is that Johnson County feels like they're in a very comfortable place with resolving those issues. It was time to return that money to the taxpayers. And so we put that money back in, infused it in the budget this year. And it may artificially lower the mill just a little bit. We may have, if we don't have enough property value increase next year, we may have a little bit of a rebound in the mill, but it won't be what we've seen in drops. And so one thing that I'd like to remind the council is this, that the mill levy is most of where our funding comes from. We do not receive any public safety sales tax. When that legislation was put together in the state of Kansas, they left the fire districts out of that. And so fire departments, if they're within a city, they get public safety sales tax. Police departments get public safety sales tax. Fire districts do not. And so that's a significant difference between us and the rest of our peers in Johnson County. And then the last thing is that we don't get any sales tax revenue from anywhere either. And so truly the mill levy is where we're funded out of. Now, we do have some ways to make money otherwise. If you've driven by our station, you see there's a big cell phone tower out in the backyard of our station. That brings us a little over $220,000 a year in income. So even though it might be a little unsightly, that's still, almost $250,000 a year of positive income that we make some way other than the taxes. And so, very few other ways to bring money in other than a few permit fees and things like that. So in total, what I want to share with you is that I had the county do some reports for us. And what it showed is that over the last 5 years in the district wide, okay, when we're talking about all 8 cities we serve, there's been about 37% total increase in property values over that 5-year period of time. In that same period of time, CFD2 has only increased our budget by 15%, which means more than half of the money has gone back to the homeowners and the taxpayers in the community. So we're really proud of that. It shows that we're really being responsible and that we're taking the charge of being good stewards of the taxpayers' money very seriously. And the last thing is that the 5-year history that the county did for me showed that when you look at your tax bill, and for whether you're in the city of Mission or you're in the city of Westwood or wherever you might be, if you're looking at your tax bill, all the subdivisions, whether it be park or library or the other subdivisions that are on your tax bill, no one proportionally has decreased their mill levy more than CFD2, and no one has increased their revenue by less proportionally than CFD2. And so we're really proud of what we've been able to do for the taxpayers. And yes, it does year to year cost a little bit more money to run the fire department, but yes, we're being super responsible with your taxpayer dollars. So that's all I have to present this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions? Yeah, Debbie?
Just a quick comment. I want to tell you how much we appreciate that. Your priority is the community. Your priority is taxpayers. And in this day and age where greed seems to be countrywide, that's a great and refreshing comment. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Okay, our second presentation tonight is a season wrap-up report from Kate Deering, head coach of the Mission Marlins swim team,
I have some
with
friends-
maybe some guest Marlins.
Yes, I was gonna say, I have some guests joining us this evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for having us tonight. My name is Katie Deering and I'm the head coach of the Mission Marlins Swim Club. This was my first year as head coach, but I've been a coach on the staff since 2007 and worked under Alyssa Ruffin for many, many years. So also with me tonight, you can see are some of our beloved Marlins. Their families are also back with us too, that wanted to help share in the excitement with our season this summer. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you. Our team's families and its members have long valued our partnership with the City of Mission and the Parks and Recreation Department. And without that, this team would not exist. So thank you. This summer, we had a total of 226 swimmers ranging in age from 5 to 18. Not only do these swimmers come from the Mission community, but they come from afar as well. We had families from Prairie Village, South Overland Park, Olathe, Leawood, Kansas City, Missouri, Lawrence, and other surrounding areas as well. So I really feel like this is an incredible testament to the resiliency and the reputation we have here, that this team has such that positive impact on the Mission community as well as with our families. We love teaching the importance of the skills, swimming skills, sharing the love of the sport of swimming, being competitive, creating lasting friendships, and most importantly, having fun. This summer, we had 4 dual meets throughout the summer in which we were undefeated all season. So we came away with wins. Thank you. We also conclude our summer with championship meets, and we are proud to share that this summer we came away with first place in the novice division. By almost 300 points. First place in the level 2 division, again by almost 300 points. And then second place in the level A division, which is our top tiered level where they have to have qualifying time. So it's the fewest amount of swimmers, but we only got second place by a mere 14 points. So, and then another exciting thing to share from championships is that we also recognize individual swimmers and their accomplishments in the pool. So I have a swimmer right here who's wearing Darcy, I almost said Leah, Darcy, wearing her High Point medal. And I'm also very pleased to announce that we had 37 High Point winners out of a possible 54 in those 2 days of championships. So that being a High Point swimmer means that you have scored the most points for your team and your individual events. So that's a huge accomplishment. We did face some financial challenges this summer due to the decrease in funding from the city. As a nonprofit team, it really makes some of our team functions very difficult. But despite that, we came through and had a fantastic season. As we move forward, we just want to do everything we can to continue to protect our relationship with you, not take any more setbacks financially, and continue to be a safe, positive activity in the Mission community for anyone to take part in. As a team, we're providing life-saving skills to new swimmers and are creating a community parents and swimmers can feel good about and safe in. We tell our littles all the time that they're doing something every day in the pool that some adults can't do. So we try to, that's a life-saving skill. So we're very pleased to introduce that and teach that to a lot of the swimmers in the community. I truly believe that the impact of our team goes way beyond summer swim season and into the classrooms, recreational use of the parks and patronage admission, and it also helps foster some future employees at both the indoor-outdoor pool and other establishments around. I have a few parents tonight who wanted to share their personal testament to what the Marlins have meant to them as well. Christy?
Hi, thank you. From the time our son was 7 years old till he's 20 years old, he was a part of the Mission Marlins. He participated in swimming, coaching, and all kinds of events that they participated in. The Marlins nurtured a safe, supportive environment that valued family, community, healthy competition, and a lot of fun. The Marlins culture was just a springboard for our son in academics and in his future collegiate endeavors. He actually, from college, took time to send me a little statement to say, my son is Trey Smith. He graduated 3 years ago. He'll be graduating from college this year. But he wrote that the City of Mission Swim Club was an important and formative part of my summer experience. Summer swimming helped foster both my social and athletic skills, of which I still utilize daily as a collegiate athlete. So he wanted to make sure, and he wanted you to give Alyssa a hug from him too. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Jamie Guild. My 2 sons are here and I've got 2 daughters who are also with the City Mission Swim Club. Honestly, we were in Prairie Village and we were looking to make a move. And this swim club was a huge part of why we ended up landing here. And I think the second thing is that this swim team really changed swimming from just being something where you go and play in the pool during the summer to my sons turning into Shawnee Mission North varsity swimmers and to a lifelong activity. And then I think walking in tonight was really fun to see all the families because I really do feel like when we come during the summer, it's a family for 6 weeks. And it's a ton of fun. So great to see you guys. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Guild. Like my dad said, I'm been a part of Mission since I was 7. And for like me and a ton of my friends, that's like where we learned to swim, at least competitively. And so I'm now a part of, like you said, part of the Shawnee Mission North varsity swim team, and I've been a state qualifier the past 2 years. And this team is like where I learned the skills that I needed to get there. This past couple of years, we've our team has broken all of the records, swimming records at Shawnee Mission North. And every single one of them is currently held by a Mission Marlin, showing that like this team really helps form, and our high school teams would actually really really benefit from all the swimmers that are coming up through this. So thank you guys.
Good evening. My name is Caleb Gild, and the Mission Marlins has really impacted me since I was even younger than Jonathan. I think I was 6. And before that, as I watched him at the pool, as my dad said, me and my other sisters, we swim for the Mission Marlins. It helps us. It's been my sport that I've done, and it gives us something to do in the summer, an activity, and I bet that a bunch of other swimmers would say the same.
Hi, I'm Valerie Kahotek. I live in Walmer Homestead, and we moved here in 2005 and would walk down to the pool, and we were wondering what all these kids were doing on Tuesday and Thursday nights. And we started swimming probably in 2009, my oldest daughter. The swim team is part of the reason we still live in Mission. We have 4 kids in a little ranch house across the way. There's not a lot of organized things for kids in our area, in the Northeast Johnson County area. You have to go south, which we considered when we had our 4th baby. But the swim team is very affordable and gives you the community that all these kids have. And I can't say enough how much the high schools really benefit from our team, like Shawnee Mission East, Bishop Miege, and certainly my son is also a swimmer at Shawnee Mission North, that we really appreciate the investment in the kids from the city.
So as you can see, the Marlins swim team has had or continues to have an incredible impact on so many people, including myself and the rest of our coaching staff. All the coaches have been former swimmers before becoming coaches. So this year alone with our 5 coaches, we had over 60 years of Marlin experience when you add all of our years together. So I just thought, and while some of us have moved farther away from the Mission community, our commitment to this area and our team remains the same, as some of us commute from Gardner, South Olathe, and Spring Hill. So again, it just is a testament to how important this community is to us. But again, thank you so much for having us tonight. I hope that we're very proud of this accomplishment, and just wanted to take time to share it with you this evening. So
Thank you so much. Our final presentation this evening is a proclamation recognizing Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the city of Mission. Domestic violence is a widespread, preventable public health problem impacting all communities, regardless of age, race, ability, identity, or socioeconomic status. Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an opportunity for citizens to learn about warning signs, prevention, and resources available for those experiencing domestic violence, and to show support for the organizations and individuals who provide critical advocacy, services, and assistance to victims. Local organizations like Safe Home provide invaluable resources and a healing atmosphere where survivors of intimate partner abuse can gain inner strength, explore options, and be empowered to live a life free of abuse. I would particularly like to recognize Safe Home and all of the organizations working tirelessly to combat the epidemic of domestic violence in our region. If you are in need of help in a dangerous situation, 24/7 resources and support are available at www.thehotline.org or by calling 1-800-799-7233. Next, we will move on to our public hearings. We do have one public hearing this evening. I will now officially open the public hearing for the 58 Nall tax abatement request. Ms.
And
Smith,
Mayor,
will you please begin with a brief presentation?
I will, and you might want to, anyone who's been here for other presentations, if you're welcome to leave now. You're also welcome to stay, but now is a good time.
Unless you really want to stay.
Sorry, Mr. Moffett, I know you enjoy them. We kicked them out. I know. All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. As the mayor stated, and I think we're all aware, tonight we're holding a public hearing on consideration of a tax abatement request from Mojo Built LLC, who formally applied for consideration of both sales and property tax abatement in connection with a proposed 77-unit multifamily project located at 58th Street and Nall Avenue. We've been working with the developers team really for almost the better part of this year, and with our city's outside consultant team, which includes Mr. Pete Heaven, our land use attorney with Spencer Fain, Kevin Wimpy of Gilmore and Bell, who are both here in the audience with us this evening, and Mr. Bruce Kimmel of Ellers, our financial advisor, who is joining us virtually. So anybody on our team or the developers team as we go through this process are available this evening to answer any questions. I think we've spent a work session and our committee meeting earlier this month, kind of walking through the details. So just from a public hearing standpoint, I'd like to kind of hit some of the specifics and some of the things that maybe have been adjusted based on the conversation that occurred at our committee meeting. First and foremost, in conforming with the statutes related to the IRBs, we did publish notice of this public hearing in the legal record on October 10th, and notice of the public hearing and background materials have been provided to the Board of County Commissioners and the Shawnee Mission School District. So we've met those statutory requirements. And our public hearing is another piece of that as we move this forward. Following our discussion at the October 4th committee meeting, the recommendation was made to bring forward the resolution of intent, which is the vehicle which would authorize the tax abatement for public hearing this evening, granting a 70% abatement, which would provide then a 30% payment in lieu of taxes to the city and all other taxing entities and jurisdictions in the county, with the percentages attributed to the various criteria in our tax abatement policy as follows. And we did revise these following the discussion at the committee meeting. So you'll recall that the baseline meeting that policy criteria is 45%. The project would qualify for a 5% increase based on the capital investment, target area adjustment of 10%, attainable housing adjustment of 7.5%, an environmental design adjustment of 2.5% for the total abatement percentage of 70%. There was a detailed memorandum in your packet which walked through those, but just kind of highlighting originally at the committee meeting, the percentages for environmental design adjustment and the attainable housing adjustment were higher. And those were brought down to be reflective of some of the comments that we heard and questions that were asked by the council at that committee meeting. So the project cost benefit analysis reports that are also required by the statute have been included in the packet. You may recall that specific to this project, there is a positive cost benefit ratio for all of the taxing entities impacted or who would be impacted by this project. City of Mission actually, because of our mill levy rate, has the lowest cost benefit ratio at 1.62%. And then it jumps up to a high of 3.19% for the Shawnee Mission School District. Just to note, because Chief Chick did mention it, the cost benefit ratio for the Consolidated Fire District for this project is about 2.57. So, which is an average return on investment of about 16%. I think I would, in your packet then, and for consideration later on the agenda following the public hearing, is the resolution of intent that was included in the packet. I would just hit a couple of high points there and a couple of points in the performance agreement, which is the document that essentially captures all the terms and becomes the contract between the city and the developer. In the resolution of intent, this would communicate the city's intent to issue the industrial revenue bonds in an amount not to exceed $20 million, to finance the cost of the project. And as a term in section, the section 4, approval of the resolution will also approve the performance agreement. It's a condition included in the resolution of intent. So you would not have two separate motions or two separate actions there. It's all contained in one piece. So this really goes through it. It lays out the approximate percentage of payments in lieu of taxes at the 30% that I had mentioned. And the rest of it is pretty, I think, standard language. I know Mr. Wempe would be happy to answer any questions. The actual issuance of the bonds doesn't occur. I think we've discussed this until after the project is completed. And then for timing, if we look at section 11, termination of the resolution, one of the things that we have talked about is, what is sort of one of the incentives, if you will, to move for the developer to move quickly to proceed with the project. In section 11, we tie termination of this resolution. So our intent to issue bonds would expire based on the project schedule outlined in the performance agreement. With respect to the performance agreement at your place, I would direct your attention to, there was a performance agreement in the packet that was provided last week. We've had some minor revisions to that. There's a copy of the performance agreement, which is redlined to show those changes. And I just want to highlight those very quickly. We've spent a lot of time working with the developer to refine this. Again, kind of our first foray into the tax abatement process. So we appreciate everybody's patience with that, but I would turn your attention. The first red line is on page 3. I believe during the committee meeting, we talked about a test date or a point in the construction of the project at which essentially 80% of the construction is completed. And we test against that, and it gives us an opportunity to sort of revisit terms of the tax abatement if they've not met the expenditure of 80% of the project costs at that point. The test date that has been included in the performance agreement is March 1st of 2026. If you then turn to page 6 in the performance agreement, section 2.14 is a construction schedule. We've added some language here, and then in, I believe it's exhibit C, to have a construction commencement date, a substantial completion date, and substantial completion under the terms of this agreement means the project can be occupied. So we could issue a temporary certificate of occupancy that would allow residents to move in. There may be some final punch list items or other things that would need to be addressed. And then we've added a final completion date, which is 6 months following that substantial completion date. Then the next red line change is on page 10, section 5.2. And this is talking about remedies of default, and it basically doesn't provide an automatic provision on an event of default that can't be reasonably cured within 60 days. It doesn't give the developer the ability to continue as long as they are continuously pursuing cure of that. But if you look earlier in this section, if we were to find ourselves with an event of default, there's a provision early in section 5.2 that talks about providing 60 days to cure an event of default or such a longer period as the issuer and the city may agree to. So if it were a situation where the remedy was expected to extend beyond that 60-day period, the city council would have the opportunity to discuss that and talk about an appropriate cure period. The exhibit C we've removed the word estimated. This is the construction schedule. And again, you'll note that we have added a final completion of construction at December 31st, 2026. Commencement of construction is expected to begin July 1st of 2024. And I believe those are all of the changes to the performance agreement from the version that was included in your packet. The developer is anxious to have a resolution and some direction on this and to know whether they are able to move forward with construction of this project. And I think that probably concludes my presentation this evening.
Do you want questions now or do we want to let the developer have a chance? to
I
speak
think
first?
let's see if the developer has anything they want to add and then the public and then.
Great. Anything from your team?
We appreciate Laura's help.
Oh, yeah, can you come to the mic? Sorry.
I'll be very brief. We appreciate all the help staff has given us, and we understand this is the first time that the city has tackled this. And we applaud you for creating a policy to help move forward, and we won't let you down.
All right, thank you. And then now, if any member of the public would like to make a comment on the 58 Nall tax abatement request, now would be the time. Please note that comments are limited to 3 minutes. Do we have a comment online, Emily?
I'd just like to share, John Arnett has left a comment, Mission resident. He says, I think due diligence has been carefully considered in this matter. Thorough research and questions have been considered. I support the final decision of the council.
Any other comments online? And seeing none in the audience, I would open it up. Oh, sorry. Come on up and state your name and city of residence.
Is this your, are you?
I just have a question. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
My
Say your
name's,
name.
my name's Andy Ackright, resident of Mission. What is the mill levy? Can someone explain that for me?
Oh, yeah.
So the mill levy is, are you a homeowner here in Mission?
I am.
Okay, so you get a tax bill from the county every year. And you have an appraised value, an assessed value, and you're taxed on the assessed value of your property. And so each taxing jurisdiction levies a property tax, and the mill levy is the way in which that property tax is levied. And so for every $1,000 of assessed valuation, you apply the mill rate that is printed on your tax bill to determine the amount of taxes that are paid to the county, the state, the county, the school district, the city consolidated fire district. So it is each year, any body, whether that be a city council or consolidated fire district or the library or Johnson County Community College, goes through a formal budget process to set that mill levy. And then it's reviewed and then communicated back to the county for the next year's tax bills.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Any other questions or public comment? Seeing none, we would move to, or sorry, seeing no further comment, I will officially close the public hearing and remind council that I will open the floor for council discussion under item 7A on our agenda this evening, which is the resolution of intent regarding the approval of the tax abatement that Laura referenced. So next, we do not have any items related to the issuance of notes or bonds this evening, so we'll move to our consent agenda. Our consent agenda has 7 items tonight. Our council committees met on October 4th and fully discussed each of these items. The committees agreed that the items listed on our consent agenda are routine enough to be considered under a single motion. If a council member or member of the public would like an item removed from the consent agenda, they may request that at this time. If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor. Go ahead.
Mayor, I move the city council adopt the consent agenda as printed, items 4A through 4G.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Josie,
Aye.
Pittman,
Aye.
Bowden,
Aye.
Green,
Aye.
Thomas. Yes. Boltinghouse.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Ryder.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we move into public comment. If any members of the public would like to make a comment on items that are not included on our agenda this evening, now would be the time. If you are participating through Zoom, please either add your comment in the chat feature and it will be read out loud, or note that you would like to speak and we will call on you shortly to make your comment verbally. Please remember your comments or questions are visible to everyone in the meeting. If you are part of our in-person group tonight, please raise your hand but stay seated and we will call on you to come to the lectern to make your comments. When you make your comment, please state your name and city of residence for the record. Also be conscientious of others trying to speak and speak slowly and clearly. If I need to confirm something that may have been difficult to hear, I will ask for clarification. Do we have any public comments? I see a hand. Come on up.
Ms. Mayor and council members, I thank you for this opportunity to speak for you today, before you today. My name is Andy Ackright and I'm a proud resident of Mission. and have been for 13 years now, living with my wife Katie and 2 sons on Horton Street. I come before you today to propose that the city recognize a location that is integral in Mission's history. Long before Mission was a city, long before Mission was Mission Township Acres, in fact, even before Washington Cross and the Baptist Mission were here, Mission was 2 springs. These springs were vital to early settlers traveling through this area. Most historical accounts of this area cite that Mission was founded upon 2 springs, but few give us the actual location of the springs. You can visit the better known of the 2 springs at 6201 West 61st Terrace, where the water still flows. At that location, a building was erected and is marked with a sign facing the street that says Santa Fe Trail Spring House. The owners of the home welcome visitors, I have asked, where you can touch the clear, cold water in the spot that the Native Americans, missionaries, travelers, and the first residents once stood. The second spring yet to be recognized by the city is documented as located at the corner of Maple and 59th. In this case, Johnson Drive. Just west of the BP gas station and car wash is a shaded area with 2 sidewalks. The sidewalks lead to a circle of bricks with 2 benches facing an elevated circle that is begging for some flowers and recognition. The 1977 Department of Housing and Urban Development flood insurance study for the city of Mission cites Elizabeth Barnes' book, Historic Johnson County, quote, "From earliest years, the area had a vital point on the map. At what is now 59th and Maple Streets, there was a spring of never failing water which supplied travelers on the old trails. The spring continued to be a busy spot during the gold rush days and the later surge of westward settlement. Even as late as the 1920s, the spring continued to serve the people faithfully, and as an added inducement to Mission Hills Acres lot purchasers, the old spring was walled up and a pump installed. Water was piped to each building lot and furnished free to each owner," unquote. Simply put, that spring was a major reason for people settling here. That spring is a major reason that we have the city of Mission, Kansas. Now, while this is on private property, I respectfully ask for the council's consideration and for it to be entered into the record, my proposal for the installation of a bronze plaque marking the historic location of the second spring. We recognize the Baptist Mission. We have the Spring House, the crossed graves. As a citizen of Mission, I am proud of our heritage, and I know that you must be too. I feel it is important to consider recognizing this spot, this truly integral part of our history. I kindly thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, could you walk the sign by? Or Robin can.
We talked about it 4 years. About 4 years ago.
Yeah. Here.
There's a method to.
All I know is there's a circle right where it is. You know, like, come on. It's begging for it. So you've probably seen it 1,000 times. You just never knew what it was.
Yeah, this is cool. Thanks for bringing this to my attention.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
This is awesome. Thank you.
when they walled it up, basically, if you get free water, people come. You know, it's like if you build it, they will come, and that's why really we're here. And I talked to Emily Randall about it about 4 years ago, and the owner of the BP now. It was a residency at one point, and so it is on private property. However, it hasn't changed ever in that time. So about 4 years ago, we asked the owner of the BP, and the BP owner did not want to. However, we have maybe an opportunity because it's up for sale. The land is up for sale. So she asked what it would be, and it would be the Mission Historical Site. This site was home to one of 2 springs that served travelers on the early trails. Later, a pump supplied settlers with free water, attracting growth, which helped to establish the city of Mission. Bada bing, bada boom. You know, that's it. It'd be through research, 11 by 8 inch bronze plaque anchored on each of the four corners. So it'd be anchored by 16 bricks and approximately a cost of $400. It also can have blue.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And check out the spring house if you ever want to.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, there's, well, I can talk about this later, but yeah, there's like a thing that you can go on online and like listen to like historical detailings of all of Mission, and they talk about the spring house. I don't know.
I am actually 2 of those spots.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, yep.
Yes. I might be in there.
Yeah.
Me again? Anybody?
Can I take a picture?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean.
That's good.
Can we all
Yes,
make it into a
sure.
fountain?
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool thing. It's weird that they have a circle already. All right. All right. Miss Mayor and council members, I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you before you today. My name is Andy Ackright. I'm a proud resident of Mission and have been for 13 years, now living with my wife Katie and 2 sons on Horton Street. I respectfully ask for the following comments to be entered into the record. I have come before you today to thank you, Miss Mayor and council members, for your continued support of our police department. As I'm sure that you are aware, the funding of police departments around the country has become a highly politicized issue, and there is a shortage of law enforcement officers in our country. However, our police department is attracting and retaining officers. This is because of the support of this council, the support of the residents of this city, and the environment that Chief Dan Madden and those within the department have created. I've had the privilege of participating in the Mission Citizens Police Academy last year, and let me tell you with 100% honesty, I had no idea what officers do and go through daily. And I have never been prouder to support our great department. When I was growing up, I remember police cars had to protect and serve on the sides. That is what our police department does. That is what your support creates the opportunity for. Our officers put their lives on the line for us, never knowing what any situation could bring. They protect us and they serve. They have the Citizens Police Academy. Officers are at virtually every city event and even put on programs to establish positive relationships. Our Chief Madden, is focused on this community interaction, as well as being focused on supporting our officers in times of mental, social, and familial needs. This support could not happen without the support of you, Miss Mayor and council members. You protect and you serve us through your support of our department. Thank you for continuing to support the men and women of the Mission Police Department. Thank you for helping to make Mission a safer, happier city to live in. I kindly thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, Emily, any other comments online? All right, we do have 2 items coming forward from our planning commission this evening. The first is consideration of a final plat for Swig Soda Company at 5959 Barkley Street. Ms. Neller, will you please provide your report?
Thank you, Mayor. This is case number 23-19, the Swig 5959 Barkley final plat. It's pretty straightforward. This is just an unplatted piece of property at 5959 Barkley that when it was proposed to be developed, staff wanted the property to be platted appropriately. So we already had enough right of way for the current sidewalk infrastructure, and the plat just establishes easements for the public utilities on the site that include stormwater, a water main, and sanitary sewer. all the requirements were met with the submission of the final plat. And so staff does recommend that the council approve that plat. And that's all I have on that one. Do you want me to pause on that and let you continue and then come back to the next case? Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yes. All right, thank you. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment on this issue? Seeing none, we'll open the floor for council discussion, and do we have any comments or questions for Carrie on this item? All right, I would now entertain a motion on the final plat for Swig Soda Company at 5959 Barkley Street.
Mayor, I move the city council approve the resolution accepting the easements associated with the final plat of Swig located at 5959 Martway.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Yes, Ben?
Yeah, it does say Martway printed here. It's actually Barkley, which is what, as everyone else has said, just so we're clear.
Oh, yes.
So 5959 Barkley is rather than Martway as it's printed in the motion.
All right, with that correction, any further discussion? Robin, please call the roll.
Green. Aye. Josie.
Aye.
House.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Loudon.
Aye.
Thomas.
Yes.
Inman.
Aye.
Ryder.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, the final item for consideration from the Planning Commission is approval of the final plat for Morrison Ridge Park second plat and use and maintenance agreement. Carrie, will you please provide your report?
Thank you, Mayor. This is case 23-12, the Morrison Ridge final plat. This was brought to us as a proposal to separate split lots, 2 lots on 53rd basically and Riggs Road, just to the west of Riggs. These are properties that are zoned R1. The developer wants to build 4 single-family residences on those 4 lots that will be split. The current lots are 2 lots split in 2 each. There is one designated right-of-way called Florence Street between the 2 that separate the northern lots from the southern lots. And that Florence Street will remain as right-of-way, but there will be a maintenance agreement that goes along with the split lots and the final plat for the split lot to require the developer to maintain that right-of-way that will be a private drive for the 4 houses. I did want to say that Tower Properties is to the west. They have signed an easement agreement for allowing the stormwater to be ejected onto their site over riprap. And then Betts and Coleman, who are 2 property owners to the east of these lots, also signed easement agreements for that stormwater installation as well. There was some question about whether a maintenance agreement would be sufficient enough to be able to cover the continued maintenance that the private property owners would continue to maintain that private street. And we did talk with our ladies attorney, Mr. Pete Heaven, who's here tonight, to get his legal advice on this. Basically, what he said that basically it's, the best way to proceed is with the maintenance agreement that would continue with the property and be applied to the plat. We could perhaps add a legend to the plat about maintenance of the drive and the right of way, but it is legally binding to have this maintenance agreement also recorded with the county at the same time with the plat. So basically we're covering our bases on this according to our land use attorney with the maintenance agreement. And so, and I wanted to say one thing too, Councilmember Josie, you asked about whether we could build on that street in the future because we still maintain that right of way. If we did ever in the future have plans, which we don't at this time, we would be able to build out street infrastructure along there by maintaining that right of way.
Awesome. Thank you for looking into that.
And that's all I have.
All right. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment on this issue? Seeing none, we'll open the floor for council discussion. Any comments or questions on this item?
Mayor, I have a question.
Yep.
We've had a few private streets here in Mission, like for instance, Lincolnshire is one, and then another condo unit just north of on Lamar. And is that would that potentially happen with this private street where they've come to the city and then asked for the city to take over, deed the streets, Mission streets, and then we have to take over everything?
Yeah, Carrie, you want to speak to that?
Sure. They could come to us and ask for it, but with this legally binding agreement, that would be what we could stand on and say, this is the property has this maintenance agreement. It should be something that they have on record and that they can refer to and that we can refer to in the future should someone ever ask us to maintain that private street. And it would need to be maintained. Code enforcement would, of course, if there are issues with it, step in and require the maintenance of that street. So whoever owns those properties, whether there's one property or one single family home that's built or all four, whoever owns those lots would be responsible. And I believe equally, depending on how they split that up.
All right, thank you.
And related to that, I don't know if maybe Brian or Laura, you could speak to the other developments we've had with these issues. Part of the problem has been that the record has been unclear, murky in
Well, I
some
think-
way, right?
So I think currently where we have private streets, there are two locations where private streets currently exist. One is Summit Condominiums, which I think is what Councilmember Inman was referencing, and then Kennett Place, which is south of Shawnee Mission Parkway, off of Lamar. Lincolnshire and Apollo Gardens. For a long time, we believed those were private streets, and then we actually discovered that those streets were intended to be deeded and dedicated to the city as public streets. So we didn't have an option, really. There was action by the council to accept those many, many, many years ago. So they are now in the rotation with that. And as Carrie mentioned, and I think it was some of the concern and conversations that I've had with the mayor, there's no ironclad way to keep anybody who lives on a private street from coming to us and asking. But between the maintenance agreement and I think Mr. Heaven's suggestion to include the legend on the plat to make it as prominent as we possibly can assist with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of that being the legend being recorded on the plat, even if the agreement protects us. And I think we can make it clear tonight that it is our intent that this be and remain a private street as referenced in the maintenance agreement.
Correct. And you also recognize that you cannot bind future councils.
Correct. But I know
So,
in the past.
yes,
the
I think it's
minutes-
important to put that on the record.
Yes.
Just understand that that's part of the challenge that you have is that whatever action you take.
But
can
some of
be-
the older minutes were not always so clear,
Correct.
or some other extraneous documents were unearthed. And
I
so
believe our
think
record
yeah.
keeping is much more effective at this point in time.
We're going back decades here for anyone who hasn't been on council listening to these, but yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Brian.
I'll just say we've been very purposeful from the very beginning with this applicant. That if you want to keep it as a private street, that's fine, but it's on you to maintain. That's the purpose of the maintenance agreement. And if we want to follow Mr. Heaven's suggestion of the legend, we may want to amend our motion to reflect that a legend be on the final plat before it's signed by the mayor. So just to be clear about that, I don't know if that's in the motion or not, but.
Okay. Yes, Leah, question?
I just wanted to make sure. So in the maintenance agreement, that includes like snow removal as well as maintaining the asphalt, correct?
So they're responsible for all the snow removal, maintenance of any potholes that might develop, anything like that. And how those property owners figure that out amongst themselves, that's going to be up to them, whether they create some kind of organization or somebody just rents a snow blower or however they do that. But
And it was the developer who wanted the street to be private?
yeah, no, it's, yeah. Yeah, it's a cost thing. So if they build it, it's a city street, it has to be built to city specifications, gutter, stormwater, and it gets very expensive. And that cost gets passed on to those four properties. And so this becomes kind of a question of monies, frankly, so.
Thank you. I hope they can get a deal on a street sweeper.
Yeah. They're not cheap, yeah.
Any other comments or questions? Yeah, Debbie?
Just have a quick comment. Brent, this is You and I have visited this area with certain property owners concerned about gradient issues and water and et cetera. Do you have any concerns about the potential for this to go through?
Brent, can you come to the microphone? I know you're stuck down the row, but thank you.
What they get for sitting on the back row.
Yep.
No concerns. One of our maintenance projects for stormwater right now is laying in a new line on rigs so they can tie into good stormwater system. It's basically all downhill, so everything will drain. I don't see any potential issues with any kind of stormwater issues with this project moving forward, so I think we're in good shape.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, I would now entertain a motion or an amended motion on the final plat for Morrison Ridge Park, second plat and use and maintenance agreement.
Mayor, I move the city council approve the resolution accepting the easements associated with the final plat of Morrison Ridge Park, second plat.
Including the addition of a legend on the plat, which clearly indicates the maintenance of the streets is the responsibility of the property owners.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Robin, please call the roll.
Ryder.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Loudon. Aye. Boltinghouse.
Aye.
Josie.
Aye.
Inman.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Did you have a second here?
There was.
Yeah,
That was Mary.
Thank you, sorry.
I was like, okay, thank you. We will now, will Councilmember Ryhard please provide a report from the Finance and Administration Committee?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The Finance and Administration Committee met on October 4th and considered 4 items. The meeting minutes, automated license plate reader policy, and MOU with the Johnson County Sheriff's Office for ALPR data storage were approved under the consent agenda. The 58th Nall tax abatement request will be considered under the regular agenda this evening. John Moffett Jr. of Mojo Build LLC has formally applied for consideration of both sales and property tax abatement in connection with a proposed 77-unit multifamily project located at 58th Street and Nall. The developers team has worked for the last several months with staff and the city's outside consultants to reach a recommendation for council consideration and action. Under Kansas law, various economic development incentives are available to assist cities in achieving their economic development goals. And the Economic Development Revenue Bonds Act of 1961, the act codified an amendment at KSA 12-1740 et seq. And the Kansas legislature created industrial revenue bonds, IRBs, as an economic development tool for cities to stimulate economic prosperity and to promote economic stability by providing greater employment opportunities and diversification of industry. Cities may consider and issue IRBs when a proposed project furthers the economic goals and objectives of the city. The statutes provide for the use of IRBs to grant a property tax exemption and or grant a sales tax exemption on the purchase of materials and taxable labor. Following discussion at the October 4th, 2023 Finance and Administration Committee meeting, a recommendation was made to bring the resolution of intent forward for public hearing on October 18th, 2023, granting a 70% abatement, but the percentages attributed to various criteria. A detailed memorandum, cost benefit analysis report, and additional materials outlining the potential financial benefits of the project to the city and other taxing jurisdictions have been provided. Upon adoption of the resolution, the city will request a sales tax exemption certificate for the project from the Department of Revenue. The remaining procedural steps detailed in the attached memorandum will occur following construction of the project to satisfy the requirements outlined in the IRB statutes. Mayor, I move the city council approve the resolution of intent determining and declaring the intent of the city of Mission, Kansas issued industrial revenue bonds and the amount not to exceed $20 million to finance the costs of acquiring, constructing, improving, and equipping a commercial multifamily facility for the benefit of Mojo Build LLC and its successors and assigns.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yeah, Ken?
I've voiced my concern about this abatement. I believe that
The city adopted the policy with the idea that there would be certain elements that would obviously be the base of 45%, and then targeted, and then various other elements that would be considered as part of this abatement. I disagree with the attainable housing adjustment level that has been granted, and I also disagree with the environmental design adjustment that has been made. I believe that this project does not deserve the full abatement as is being proposed. And for that reason, I'm going to vote against this. Thank you.
Any other council comments or questions? Yeah, Hillary?
Thanks. I actually had a more technical question first. I was hoping maybe someone from the developers team could talk on the Green Globe's rating system. There's a particular item that mentions energy efficient transportation, and I'm curious, is that connected to EV chargers? Is that what that marking is? How many chargers are there? Could you remind me?
Please come up to the podium and the microphone.
Yes, it's connected to that. I think we're somewhere, I'm not sure to how many, but I think we're somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 4. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Hillary?
I shared some of Councilmember Davis's concerns initially. I'm appreciative to staff for their adjustments to, I think, for me, better reflect our intent on kind of a new approach to economic development tools that we're jumping into. With that said, I think that this is a good first attempt. And I think we are again affirming this council's efforts to bring more economic development in Johnson Drive, create more sustainable buildings, and more attainable housing opportunities. So for that reason, I'll be voting yes.
All right. Any other council comments? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Boltinghouse,
Aye.
Ryder. Aye. Loudon.
Aye.
Thomas.
Yes.
Josie.
Aye.
Davis.
Nay.
Pring.
Nay.
Inman.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right.
That concludes my report. Sorry.
Thank you, Mary. Now, Councilmember Loudon, will you please provide a report from the Community Development Committee?
The Community Development Committee also met on October 4th and considered 7 items. The meeting minutes, 61st Street and Broadmoor Street pedestrian improvement projects, 2025 street preservation program projects, and SMP funding, Powell Community Center kitchen floor replacement, and adult lounge furniture for the Powell Community Center were approved under the consent agenda. The Johnson Drive Phase 2 Metcalf to Lamar project survey and Mohawk Park playground equipment purchase will be considered under the regular agenda this evening. The Johnson Drive Phase 2 Metcalf to Lamar project survey. The Johnson Drive Phase 2 project Metcalf to Lamar is included in the city's capital improvement CIP and 5-year CARS program for the construction in 2026 at an estimated cost of $12,609,901. The scope of work includes full depth pavement reconstruction, sidewalk and retaining walls, stormwater improvements, traffic signal buyout and a replacement of streetlights, installation of a Hawk pedestrian signal at Riggs, and various streetscape improvements. The stormwater and sidewalk improvements will trigger the need for the city to acquire easement or additional right-of-way as a significant portion of the existing stormwater facilities and sidewalks are located outside of the right-of-way or existing easements. The estimated right-of-way easements needed for the project total 31,515 square foot with an estimated cost of $1,135,000. The acquisition of the additional right-of-way and easement would be handled through an outside appraiser consultant in 2025 due to the federal guidelines associated with this project. The task order with Olson includes survey services for the roadway and stormwater infrastructure. On May 23rd, 2023, the Mission Drive Rehabilitation Project was programmed through Mark STP for 2026 construction with funds at 80/20 for construction and construction inspection up to the maximum $6 million. Due to the timeline provided through the Kansas Department of Transportation, completing the survey work in 2023 will keep this project on track to advertise for bids in December of 2025. Mayor, I move the city council approve a task order with Olson for engineering services for survey work associated with the Johnson Drive Phase 2 Metcalf to Lamar project in an amount not to exceed $78,869.
Second.
76,000.
Oh, so sorry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one? Seeing none, Robin, please call the roll.
Trustee
Aye.
Thomas. Yes. Davis.
Aye.
Pring.
Aye.
Ryder. Aye. Boltinghouse.
Aye.
Inman.
Aye.
Loudon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mohawk Park Playground Equipment Purchase. The playground at Mohawk Park was installed in 1996 prior to the city's acquisition of the property. In August 2020, the playground received a significant infusion of replacement pieces to bring it up to American Society for Testing and Materials, ASTM standards. With conceptual redesign of Mohawk Park, replacement of the playground was identified as a component of the Phase 2 project. During the conceptual design process, the stakeholder group and larger public were educated on missions, communities for all ages goal. The important considerations in all future park improvements was making inclusive playgrounds a priority. The existing design of the Mohawk Park playground does not meet the higher standards of all abilities or inclusive design. All abilities play features and spaces follow the tenets of universal design and have far-reaching benefits, not just for users, but also for caregivers. Confluence reached out to several major playground manufacturers and solicited quotes for inclusive playground concepts. Staff and Confluence reviewed each option, weighing public and stakeholder feedback, and chose Game Time's conceptual layout from the regional distributor, Cunningham Recreation. Staff discussed the associated costs with Cunningham Recreation representatives. Cunningham Recreation can produce significant discounts, which they call grants, when equipment is ordered in bulk prior to the end of the year. These grants have a limited funding period and will require Mission to purchase the equipment by October 27th, 2023, and store it until the project is bid and ready for construction. Taking advantage of this funding option will save the city approximately $216,000 or $744,000. I'm sorry, numbers are not my thing, obviously. In addition to the Game Time grant, staff recently applied to the Land and Water Conservation Fund, LWCF, for a grant to fund Phase 2 improvements at Mohawk Park. Installation is estimated for the summer 2024. Mission Public Works has agreed to store the playground equipment at their indoor space at the south of the shop. I am really excited and pleased to move the city council approve a contract with Cunningham Recreation for Mohawk Park inclusive playground equipment, partial order in an amount not to exceed $226,428.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Yeah, Hillary?
Yeah, just a question and then a comment. Question, Mayor, your recommendation at our committee meeting about the extension of the guarantee was that resolved?
I believe Penn got that resolved. Penn, do you want to come speak to that real quick?
Yes, they're going to amend the contract update so that it's per opening come spring 2024.
Awesome. Thank you, Penn. And then I just want to make a note for the public watching, or in case this ends up reported on, that this is part of a multi-million-dollar investment in our park system. And it's just very exciting to see some of it come to fruition after many years of planning, thanks to Penn and staff for making.
Yeah. Very exciting. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, that would be fine. Come on up.
Miss Mayor, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna. So Once again, Andy Ackright, 5605 Horton is where I live. I have a 7-year-old son and we just have a baby. He's 4 months. If I want to take away some of my son's energy, we will take him to Waterworks Park. If I want to take him to a nice park, I will go to a different city. There are great parks around here, Wasmer Park in Prairie Village, the one at 95th and Nall, and those are all inclusive playgrounds. I am involved with an organization, Baker Foundation, which works with variety. And I want to also emphasize that inclusive playground equipment is not just for those with special needs. It's inclusive for everyone. When they made the park at the zoo, for the first time, I saw a young man who was in a wheelchair get to swing, and his older brother pushed him. So for all his life, he had to watch his brother, and he got to do that. We need a park. We need somewhere to go. We don't have sidewalks. You know, we need somewhere for our kids, and I completely wholeheartedly support this as a father and a citizen. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, Leah.
I just want to thank Penn for really, going above and beyond to make sure that the new playground equipment at many of the parks to come, this one and Waterworks, were inclusive. I just think that's such an important feature. I mean, we heard it from the people who came to meetings in the community who talked about their special needs kids and how hard it was to have to go, to other parks and not be able to stay in Mission. And I think that this is really putting Mission on the map as a very inclusive, loving, open city that really does think about, all ages and all abilities. And so thank you, Penn. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Ben.
Just another thing to highlight here. I feel like every time we turn around, staff is shaking some kind of grant or savings or purchase opportunity to save us some big money out of the woodwork. And it's amazing. We really, just reflecting here on so many things we've made progress on since I've been elected to the council. And I know a number of things probably wouldn't even be possible without some of these grants and savings opportunities. So thank you all for your hard work on that.
Yeah, Mary.
Yeah, and I just wanted to kind of echo everything, and I shared this with Penn on Monday, and Leah also was there, but photos of this got shared on a mom's group on Facebook, which usually I'm like, uh-oh. But people are like freaking out in a very positive way. So to see moms happy and excited to get to take their families to a place in Mission like this is just very heartwarming. And I know we've been working on this forever. Thank you, Penn. Thank you, staff. This is awesome. So thank you.
All right. Any further council discussion? Not Robin, please call the roll.
Loudon.
Aye.
Josie.
Aye.
Boltinghouse.
Aye.
Inman.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Thomas. Yes. Green.
Aye.
Reier.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. We do not have any unfinished business or new business tonight. Therefore, we will move into comments from the city council. This is an opportunity for comments from our council members. Does anyone on the council have something to share this month? Yes, Debbie.
Tomorrow evening, we will have a Ward 3 meeting at the community center that begins at 7 p.m. All are welcome.
All right. Yes, Hillary.
First wanted to say that I am grateful for some of the model citizens we've heard from tonight. Whoa, let's have these every council meeting. This has been lovely. Second of all, you may not be aware that our own Mayor Flora will be getting married this weekend here at City Hall, and I will be officiating. Don't be offended if you weren't invited. It's just their families. But anyways, I just wanted to say congratulations, and hopefully we can all say congratulations with a round of applause.
Thank you, Hillary. All right. Yes, Ken.
Couple of things. First of all, Ward 4 is going to have its open forum on November 14th, which is a Tuesday, at Sylvester Powell Center at 7 o'clock. I also wanted to say thank you to Public Works and Brent for completing the 61st Terrace paving, which has, and the two creek box, I don't know what they're called, but culvers. And it was completed early, but it has taken what, since mid-May till now to complete it. It's been quite the project and really appreciate that very much. I also wanted to say that the Broadmoor Park, I was looking at that the other day and saw that the paving is taking place for the new trail there, and it looks great. So Penn, you're to be congratulated on that. So thank you very much for both departments and the work that you're doing.
Great. All right, next we have our council committee liaison reports. These reports allow the entire governing body to stay up to date with the various activities of the boards, commissions, and committees we have here. First, our council members Kring and Thomas for Sustainability Commission. Take it away, Debbie.
Okay, we did have a sustainability meeting on Monday, October 2nd. Had general conversation, and people are doing some phenomenal things. We have some really astute professional people on the Sustainability Commission. They come with technical backgrounds and give us feedback on what the city can be doing better. They also explained what their role is in evaluating and looking at our new developments to ensure that they are done with sustainable practices and are environmentally friendly. So I just want to shout out to the sustainability group. Terry Baugh, who's our recycling queen, went over all the things that happened at the environmental fair in September, was well attended. And even during rain, people were coming out and giving her praise and telling her what a great opportunity it was for them to see what a city does with environmental success. So that's always a good sign.
All right. Next are council members Loudon and Reichert for Parks, Recreation, and Tree Commission.
Sure. So we met on October 16th, this past Monday. And we're going to be doing some fall tree planting. Some of the trees were purchased from Rose Hill. And the Sustainability Commission is sponsoring a celebration tree and thinking of planting it somewhere on Johnson Drive. And we wondered if the Mission Magazine could put an article about groups sponsoring trees for the spring planting and maybe get some involved.
I know a liaison we can talk to.
Previous meetings, we'll have about 8 or 9 bids, which I think is really impressive.
We hope. We had 8 or 9 in attendance. We hope they all submit a bid. So it's very competitive.
Yes. Freshman is putting students to participate in groundbreaking. Exciting. Broadmoor Trail is mostly launched and for inspection for trail is happening. And is that finished? Not yet. Not yet. But the ribbon cutting will be soon. Let's see, Mission was number 14 and Friendly Family City by Open Door. We're kind of excited because we're becoming high parking out in water fountains and benches and all kinds of things, which is very exciting for Mission. There's 2 new part-time employees on the parks team, and we'll be starting the process of producing new 3 ID plaques out in 5 locations in Anderson Park.
All right, thank you. Now we will hear an update from Councilmember Boltinghouse on the Mission Magazine editorial board.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd actually like to respectfully defer to Laura as I had a work conflict at the last meeting and was not able to attend.
Yes, well, thank you. So we just uploaded the 4th issue of the Mission Magazine to the printer earlier today. Issue is themed around pets, and I think you'll find it really entertaining and some things about we have a lot of businesses who support pets, and so I think it's going to be a really fun issue. And then we are headed right into our 5th issue, final issue for 2023, which will be themed around arts and culture. And then we have started some preliminary conversations around themes for next year. So if you have any ideas, please share them with Councilmember Boltinghouse or myself. And And we'll take those back to the committee, but it's always fun to see and hear and learn about the people and places in our community that we don't always remember are there. Yeah.
All right.
Watch out, you'll be a subject of a story. I know you have. I've worked on you for all these years, been Springhouse and
Laura knows everything about the Mission Magazine. All right, finally, we have Councilmember Chosi with Family Adoption Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. Family Adoption Committee met on Thursday, September 26th. We're really in the full swing of arranging logistics and getting fundraising started and communicating with the schools and social workers. On that front, there was a date change for food and gift pickup in December to avoid a potential conflict with one of the school, the dates of the holiday breaks for the schools. So instead of December 21st, that's moved to Wednesday, December the 20th. Some other highlights. We got the Amazon wish list set up and working, and at least sort of piloted that with the with the committee and make sure it works. It looks like it's going to be a good option for us. I think we've got police department and public works coordinated to help us again. And that really is it until we get a little closer to the holiday season. I'll have another update for you with our next meeting, which is, well, it's the fourth Thursday of every month.
All right. Thank you.
Mayor.
Oh, yes, Hillary.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I was so excited about your wedding. I forgot to mention one other thing in my city council comments, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Thank you very much. I'm lucky enough to serve on the Shawnee Mission North Art Patrons Gallery Board, and I just wanted to share with everyone that the gallery recently reopened after $20,000 worth of investments that many folks in this room contributed towards that efforts. And so I just wanted to thank everyone in this room. And if you get a chance to head over to North and check out the art gallery, it is beautiful. And because of some of those efforts, we had a generous donor provide a $10,000 gift to help us establish a scholarship fund. And if you're familiar with North, you can have scholarships for really any particular subject. There's some for football, dance, everything, but of course nothing for art, right? And so we're working to establish that fund. And if anyone's interested in supporting that or learning more, please reach out to me. Thanks.
And the art gallery will be featured in the 5th issue of the Mission Magazine this year.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I just wanted to say, I think we've had a lot of fun at tonight's council meeting and good energy. And I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little bit of a downer for my mayor's report, but I did want to say that just speaking on my behalf, not on behalf of the governing body, I wanted to recognize the pain that both Jewish and Palestinian members of our mission community are feeling in response to the overwhelming loss of life, both Israeli and Palestinian, from and following Hamas's terrorist attacks on Saturday, October 7th. My heart goes out to all of you, and we mourn with you. Laura, do you have any items you would like to share with City Council tonight?
What I love about council committee liaison reports is it takes away all my thunder. But a couple of things. So Ms. Randall has asked me to share with you, I think you'll recall that one of the things coming out of the Climate Action Task Force recommendations was an energy audit grant program, which we rolled out earlier this fall. We awarded 15 grants to homes of varying sizes and types. Those audits are complete, have been very well received. We actually had more people who were interested in participating in the program than we had grant funds available for. We're now moving into looking at a sharing out of the information that was collected because much of it will be relevant to other homeowners. And then we'll be moving into the award of actual grants to make improvements. But there will be sort of a knowledge share out meeting for anyone who is interested in attending. It will be a virtual meeting held via Zoom on Tuesday, October 24th at 6:30 p.m. And there will be a link on the website available for that.
Just to mention, Laura, saw schematics of people who'd had them done during the Sustainability Commission, and it was awesome. They give a whole cadre of information where you can change it, where your minimal costs are, where it was awesome. So if you're ever have an opportunity to get in on one of those, it's really successful.
Well, and I think our hope is that the information can be so transferable that by really being able to share it and encourage, in some ways that helps stretch the dollars that we have available, even further and helping more folks. I would touch again, just reiterate what Councilmember Loudon said. We do have the Spooky Walk this Friday at Streamway Park. There will be a shuttle system similar to what occurred, I believe, last year, if not years prior, to get participants to and from. Fox Ridge is still one way. If you haven't had a chance to take a drive down Fox Ridge, I would also encourage you to do that. It's looking really, really amazing. Work will continue, we anticipate, through the end of December related to installation of the traffic signals and some other things. And maybe longer. The traffic signal, which I think we talked about this at the committee meeting, was on order, is still not here. So we'll be working on that, but I think much improved over there, and it's really fun to see that vision come together. And between that and, as Councilmember Davis mentioned, the street projects for this year, tremendous kudos to Brent, in managing those projects and dealing with the residents. And Broadmoor Park Trail, that was on my list, but I mean, I just went and sat and looked at it earlier this week because it's so amazing looking. They're working so quickly, and I think they built a lot of wiggle room in the contract that we awarded. But it's fun to see that come together, and I think it will be fantastic while there's still fall weather available for residents to be able to get out and take advantage of that. So thanks to Penn. We mentioned we do open bids for the Waterworks Park tomorrow, and we'll be bringing forward a contract award for that project at your November committee meeting, so we can get that moving. Mr. Ackright, he won't be able to use Waterworks Park for a while. So we apologize for that, but we'd be happy to share the exciting things that are coming. And as Councilmember Thomas said, over $10 million worth of improvements on the horizon in our parks, and it's exciting to see that. I think we have announced and shared with you that we launched a holiday window decorating contest. We have 23 businesses who have currently signed up to participate in that, which is really exciting. And so we're looking forward to, we've got a few more opportunities to pair, or in need of some artists, I think, to pair with. So if you are of a creative ilk, or you know someone who is a creative ilk who would be willing to participate, please let Emily or Robin know. And I think that's all I have. And Robin has a couple of business updates this evening.
Can I just add that Waterworks is going to have a bathroom? Like a full bathroom. So excited about that.
I fully support the bathroom at Waterworks Park. Business updates. I have several for you, so I hope you're all excited. Now open the Kauai Piano Gallery of Kansas City at 5930 Broadmoor Street. It's a really cool space if you are a music lover or you need a piano. It's really neat to see the things they have in there. Coming soon, we have several. Brixton Minifigs, which is a Lego resale shop, is opening in the Mission Mart at 5327 Johnson Drive. They open in November, and there's ribbon cutting scheduled for Thursday, November 9th at 8:30 with the Northeast Johnson County Chamber. And I'll send y'all a calendar invite for that. And that's open to the public, so if anyone wants to attend. Kitchen, Bath and Home, which is a cabinet showroom. The cabinets are crafted in Wamego, Kansas. That's where the company is from. They are going to open at 5801 Johnson Drive in early November, and they are planning a grand opening, but they haven't got details yet. Key Salon will open in November at 6001 Johnson Drive, Suite A. Prairie Sailor, our new retail and bicycle shop, is having a grand opening celebration tentatively scheduled for November 11th. They're at 5811 Johnson Drive. The Big Biscuit is tentatively scheduled for opening in late November at 7017 Johnson Drive. The Other Place in Mission is tentatively scheduled to open in late November in the former Abeluto's Italian Delight space at 6522 Martway. And then Los Galitos, which is our new Mexican restaurant taking the place of Salsa Grill, is scheduled to open in November as well at 6508 Martway. So lots of good
Be
business
busy.
developments. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Yep. Hope everyone's hungry.
Shoot me an email.
Why are they doing the Lego opening at 8:30 p.m.?
It's 8:30 a.m.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Maybe that was their point.
All right, thank you. We do have the need for an executive session this evening. The governing body will adjourn to executive session for the allotted time. When that time has expired, the governing body will reconvene to do one of the following. One, extend the time required for discussion and return to executive session, or two, continue with our city council meeting. As a reminder to the public, the governing body may take no binding action in an executive session. I would entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move the city council recess to executive session in accordance with KSA 754319B1 for the discussion of personnel matters of non-elected personnel. Also attending the executive session will be the city attorney, Dave Martin, deputy city administrator for administrative services, Emily Randall, that's a long title, and city administrator Laura Smith. The open meeting will resume in the council chambers at 9:06, excuse me.
That clock is
I'm
wrong.
amending this.
9:09.
We'll resume in the council chambers at 9:09 p.m.
All right.
Second.
Motion and a second. Robin, please call roll.
Inman. Crane.
Aye.
Thomas. Loudon.
Aye.
Josie.
Aye.
Ryder.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Boltinghouse.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We have to wait. No, just till 9:09.
That clock isn't wrong. We have 1 minute.
It's 9:08. Whoa.
Maybe we should change the language in this to say we'll resume by.
That is what CFD2 does in their minutes. That's what CFD2 does in their minutes.
Okay. Yeah, and I think we are good to return from executive session. And remind me, do we need a motion to return? No, we just acknowledge that we are returned. It is 9:09 PM and we are returned from executive session. So before we adjourn tonight, I want to share with the public that the video from this meeting will be available through a link on our website at missionks.org. There being no further business tonight, I would entertain a motion to
I
adjourn.
move we adjourn.
We have many motions, but do we have a second?
Second.
Motion a second. All those in
Aye.
favor say aye. We are adjourned.
Bye-bye.